There was a video clip doing the rounds recently where an interviewer took a poll on the streets of a Canadian city asking young people what they thought about the obviously male-bodied trans woman Rachel McKinnon beating biological women in international cycling competitions and taking their speed records. And it was very surprising to see that almost to a person the youth responded, sometimes nervously it has to be said, by saying what is now considered the right thing to say, the only acceptable truth, that is, that McKinnon is in fact a female and that they should be allowed to compete as they identify. This was quite frightening to see, that so many have casually allowed their reason to be usurped and conditioned by falsehood. Because McKinnon is not a female. They may be a trans woman, they may identify as a woman, but they are a male-bodied person. So in general, I think that the bad news is that things are going to get worse. To quote the quite popular occultist and author Robert Anton Wilson, things will go on as they always have, getting weirder all the time. Things will get worse because although right now there is some balance from the adults in the room who remember history and the reality of things as they are, those adults will get older and die or become disinterested or withdraw into later life contemplations about inevitable suffering, old age and death, which will naturally absorb them. And the few remaining people who are vocal will be just considered cranks. Those adults will be quickly replaced by the people who are young now and in third level education, or being indoctrinated in schools by those fresh out of third level education, educators who are keen to take on the newest theories which have been ladled out to them at conferences by progressive psychologist types. The young adults in universities now are being cultivated by academics who have been taken in completely by deconstructionist postmodern ideologies. Moral relativism, cultural relativism, the destruction of the literary canon, the dehumanization of the very being, these are quite commonplace accepted ways of thinking now. Atheism, for example, is the only acceptable or respectable mode of intellectual existence, even though atheism is very much a faith-based and unquestioning belief system. At least agnostics are more scrupulous and honest in that they accept that some things are unknown, perhaps even unknowable. Universities where preferred pronouns, jazz hands instead of clapping, cancel culture, climate alarmism and complete rejection of debate are absolutely considered normal, even good practices, will produce the next generation of bureaucrats, politicians, policymakers, judges, public servants and teachers, etc. And even though ordinary people will know in their hearts and souls that reality cannot be subverted or belittled, yet still they will lack the words to counter the enactment of policies which forcibly subvert reason, such as increasing taxes on the poorest people, somehow affecting climate change, or the realities of biological sex being swept away by whimsical gender performance, or abortion up to the point of birth being pronounced and promoted as compassionate, and so on. People will lack the words to object because it is almost impossible to describe what is right under your nose, what is instinctive. But there are a million words to thwart and condescend to reason. Smashing things down is so much easier than building things up. Already the anomalies pile up. Crimes, such as rape committed with a penis, are being recorded in the UK as of now as being committed by a woman. People advocating for open borders are craw-thumping about dead bodies in sealed containers, and yet they never question the decriminalisation of prostitution, which is the area of employment that 80% of trafficked people end up enslaved in. One of Extinction Rebellion's biggest donors has also got significant investment in Heathrow Airport, and yet this is completely ignored. Official government bodies remove the word woman from breastfeeding or pregnancy information leaflets. The levels of institutional lunacy are already rising significantly, and they can only get worse, unfortunately, as the new generation of social justice activists pile out from their lofty ivory tower asylums into their cushy desk jobs in powerful public places, determined to burn down the world as it is and recreate it with their fevered imaginations from year zero.